the news, Northern governors kick against rotational presidency. Protesters shut down Edo over compulsory COVID-19 vaccination. And NECA raises alarm over rising debt profile. Many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Oni Adekunle. Governors of the 19 northern states have said the position of their southern counterparts that the country's next president must come from the south is unconstitutional. Arising from an emergency meeting with traditional rulers of the region at the Kaduna Government House today, the Northern Governors Forum said although some northern state governors had earlier expressed views for a power shift to 3 geopolitical zones in the south, the forum unanimously condemned the statement by the Southern Governors Forum that the presidency must go to the south. At the meeting in Lagos in July, Southern governors had demanded that power must shift to the region based on equity and fairness. But Plateau State Governor and Chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, Simon Lalong, reading the resolutions of the meeting on Monday, said the statement is quite contradictory with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution. Well, let's now get another opinion on this. Political affairs analyst Ilyas Gadu joins us on News Now. He joins us via Skype, telephone from Abuja. Thank you, Mr. Gadu, for joining us on News Now. Now, what do you make of this position by the northern governors?
Well, first and foremost, it's curious that with all the plethora of issues that is plaguing the north, insecurity, banditry, kidnapping, and all kinds of things that are plaguing the north, the northern governors would think only of an item that is generally not of immediate interest to northerners generally. But be that as it may, well, what the northern governors have come up with this afternoon from the emergency meeting is expected, has been expected, because while we agree that one or two governors have expressed a view regarding power shift to the south, but the general mood in the north is that rotational presidency is not really what should happen at this point in time, and that there should be a kind of open level field for candidates to vie for the position, having regards to the fact that we've tried it before and now we need to go ahead and then forget about, or at least try the option of handling, of doing the presidential elections based on merit and based on open level field for candidates who are eligible. So it's not surprising that the northern governors have come to this conclusion, and that of course they are also basing their decision on the Constitution should not be unexpected.
But do you not think that we've come to a time where governors should actually meet like the Nigerian Governors Forum as a whole, as opposed to this region meeting, governors from this other region meeting? And then there's also this ongoing issue about PDP zoning their chairmanship to the south, meaning that it's possible that their presidential candidate will come from the north. Now, how do you see all of these shaping the 2023 presidency?
Well, in the first instance, the issue of whether the president should come from any part of the country or not should be a matter of the parties to consider. It's supposed to be something within the realm of the parties. Now that it has gotten to the level, it has shifted from the level of the parties themselves, who have the responsibility to handle that issue, and gone to the realm of regional politics. It's a dangerous development, because what it shows that is contradictory, and then we keep running around in circles, because then the solution is not actually, it should not actually come from regional groupings or regional meetings, but it should come from within the parties. I can, that, for instance, the membership of the governors in Nigeria cuts across the two political parties. Now, they are supposed to handle this matter within their political parties, but then it shows that the political parties themselves have failed in addressing this issue. So it is now assuming a regional dimension with the regions and governors from regions trying to, wade into the matter. And it's very contradictory, because on the one hand, southern governors are saying power must shift to the south, but again, the party in which a lot of them belong to is now going the other way in the sense that
exactly, Mr. Gadu. It's just a lot of contradictory statements flying around, but this is still a developing story, and we'll keep our eyes on this story and see where it goes. But thank you very much, Mr. Ilyasu Gadu, public affairs analyst, for joining us on News Now. And still on security matters, the Nigerian Armed Forces have confirmed the terrorist attack on one of its bases in Sabo Benin local government area of Sokoto State. A statement signed by the Director of Defense Information, Major General Benjamin Sawyer, on Monday, however, confirmed that scores of members of the bandits were killed in the attack. He said the failed attack, which took place at about 5:30 a.m. on September 26 in a remote border settlement with Niger Republic, was swiftly repelled by troops. Sawyer explained that the attackers came in large numbers using telecom network provided from a neighboring country and capitalized on the lean rear area protection force when the main troops were out conducting offensive operations within their area of responsibility. He added that swift reinforcements by Nigerian troops, however, helped to counter the attack, as many of the ISWAP fighters were killed, while some scrambled with various degrees of injuries. And away from security now, tourism has become one of the fastest growing sectors of the world economy, and today Nigeria joins the rest of the world in marking the 2021 World Tourism Day, a day set aside by the United Nations since the 1980s to raise awareness on the role of tourism and how it affects social, political and cultural values worldwide. Now, despite the several tourist destinations in Nigeria and the sector's immense potential, the country's tourism has suffered great neglect. Now, joining us on News Now to further give an assessment of Nigeria's tourism sector is Adedamola Idowu, the Managing Director and CEO of Iriajo, an online-based tourism organization. Thank you very much, Damola, for joining us on News Now. Now, just how crucial is tourism for the world and for Nigeria as a country? Will you say we've tapped into the potential of the tourism sector?
Hello, good evening, and thank you for having me. Talking about how crucial tourism is for the world, in 2019, the tourism industry contributed about 10.3% of global GDP, which amounted to about $8.9 trillion. So that shows how significant tourism is to world economy. It's a very, very important sector. Talking about how tourism has been impactful on Nigeria, or how has Nigeria been able to scratch, that potential, I can tell you categorically that Nigeria has not been able to scratch, even a percentage of the tourism potential that can actually create jobs to our youth and, of course, the very many people who are unemployed. So I think this gives us an opportunity to actually reevaluate our step. I'm not sure we are where we were the previous year, but then the pace at which we are moving is not very encouraging. But then I can, of course, say that Nigeria has not tapped the potential of the vast tourism industry that is making, positive strides in, other parts of the world.
And we see that a lot of Nigerians jet out of the country for tours annually. And in many cases, some of the tourist attractions that we seek abroad are also present here in the country. Now, is there a particular reason for this trend, and how increase capacity in our tourism sector?
So one of the reasons why get out, to other countries for tourism is, of course, it's not far-fetched. Security is a major challenge. People are actually very scared to, visit places that are so far away from their homes. So if security is not well handled, you can be rest assured that it's going to have a negative impact on tourism. Of course, lack of infrastructure as well. How good are our roads? These are also contributing factors to why you see Nigerians jet out every now and then to other countries to go and spend their, hard-earned money. So one of the things I think the government can do for us is, hand over some of these tourism destinations to the private sector. Tourism in developed countries actually and majorly driven by the private sector. If we are able to achieve this, government has fewer things, to focus on. Government will just focus on, doing formulating policies that actually support the industry. Then, of course, support with basic infrastructural development. If we don't do this, if we have government running the tourism destinations and, and what have you, we won't be making very positive impact in years to come. So these are just some of the ideas which government can actually borrow to ensure that tourism thrives because if we spend those dollars in here in our economy, we know how far it's going to positively impact our own economy. So we'll only continue to
correct. Thank you very much, Adedamola Idowu, the MD CEO of Iriajo. Thank you very much for joining us on News Now. And moving on, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, the Nigerian National Association of the Deaf, and other partners have launched a new activity to empower deaf and hard of hearing children and youth through education, employment, and life-saving opportunities in Nigeria. At the launch of the new 3-year $2.05 million activity tagged Strengthening Deaf Education, Empowerment, and Employment, USAID Acting Mission Director Katie Donoho said the partnership will change the tide for the deaf community in Nigeria.
We're not doing enough to educate our hearing impaired and all our other physically challenged population. According to TREAT reports, 23.7% of Nigerians have hearing impairments, total deafness, hearing loss, or other hearing-related impairments. 84% of the deaf population in Nigeria remain undereducated and economically disadvantaged. Furthermore, less than 40% of Nigeria's deaf children are enrolled in primary school, and even fewer are allowed to continue to secondary school education.
Deaf people can do anything hearing people can do. In fact, deaf, hard of hearing, and deaf-blind people excel at all levels of education and employment when they are provided an education that is accessible and designed for them to directly interact and communicate with their parents, teachers, and peers. USAID and its Deaf E3 partners look forward to helping Nigeria realize that goal.
The former governor of Nasarawa State, Tanko Al-Makura, also called on all state governors to provide comprehensive special schools, as such structures would create a level playing field for all.
In each of the state capitals, we should have a comprehensive special school. Why I'm saying that is because these people have been so terribly marginalized. They have been so extricated from the mainstream of the society. And these are people that are so vulnerable, that have no mouth to talk, have nobody to listen to. If the state can be large-hearted and provide this, it is going to solve a lot of problems.
And Vice President Yemi Oshibajo has commended Governor Emmanuel Udom of Akwa Ibom State for his industrialization policy, saying it is in line with the federal government's policy on development of critical infrastructure. Oshibajo gave the commendation while commissioning the Dakada Tower, a 21-story smart building in Uyo, as part of ceremonies to mark the 34th anniversary of Akwa Ibom State. Our correspondent, Mary Cannon, reports.
Vice President Yemi Oshibajo is in Akwa Ibom State for the third time in 6 years to commission the tallest building in the South-South and Southeast region of the country. The 21-story state-of-the-art Dakata Tower, a residential building designed to serve the interests of the business community in Akwa Ibom State. Oshibajo commended Governor Udom Emmanuel on his numerous achievements in the state, noting that they are in tandem with the programs of the current administration.
Your focus, Your Excellency, on infrastructure development is significantly in sync with what the federal government itself wants to do and what the federal government has been doing. As you are aware, since the inception of our administration, Mr. President has prioritized the development of infrastructure, roads, rail, power, and broadband connectivity. And despite the severe economic headwinds that we have experienced in the past 6 years, we have invested more than any other federal administration in infrastructure.
Describing the Dakata Tower as a catalyst for private sector investment in Nigeria, Oshibajo urged oil and gas companies to take advantage of the project and relocate their offices to Akwa Ibom.
So the completion of the Dakata Tower will most definitely address the questions of the paucity of world-class office accommodation for both local and corporate international companies, especially oil and gas companies. With this development, the big players in corporate Nigeria, and especially in the oil and gas industry, should now find it entirely auspicious to relocate their administrative headquarters to Uyo.
While expressing his appreciation to the people for their support on the project and other efforts of his administration, Governor Udom said his administration is poised to spearhead innovations that will reposition the state among committee of nations in the world.
One of the finest dual carriage expressway done by an Omin company to Las Vegas, 27 kilometers that will lead from Uyo straight to Ikorekpene, dualized with the latest technology in solar energy. That's the lighting system that we're having there. With an outfall drain that will take the entire water out of the entire 27 kilometers into where people would not have any problem. It's ecosystem friendly. These are things we stand for.
Oshibajo also flagged off work for the Jakarta Luxury Estate, a proposed low-income housing project in Akwa Ibom, which he says is a catalyst for development in the private sector to yield returns and boost the revenue of the state. Mary Kanu, TV360, Nigeria.
Well, let's take a break here, but still to come, Lebanon suspend Beirut blast probe for second time. Details of that and more after this break. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us on News Now. Here is a quick reminder of some of our top stories tonight. Governors of the 19 northern states have said the position of their southern counterparts that the country's next president should come from the south is unconstitutional. Arising from an emergency meeting with traditional rulers of the region at the Kaduna Government House today, the Northern Governors Forum said although some northern state governors had earlier expressed view for a power shift to 3 geopolitical zones in the south, the forum unanimously condemned the statement by the Southern Governors Forum that the presidency must go to the south. And we also told you that the Nigerian Armed Forces have confirmed terrorist attack on one of its bases in Sabon Birni local government area of Sokoto State. A statement signed by the Director of Defense Information, Major General Benjamin Sawyer, on Monday, however, confirmed that scores of the members of the bandits were killed in the attacks. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're TV360 Online.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
Members of civil society organizations and student unions on Monday staged a massive protest against Edo State government's no COVID-19 vaccination, no entry policy into public places. Armed with placards bearing various inscriptions, the protesters, who grounded vehicular movement and human movement in major parts or in the metropolis, urged the government to share COVID-19 palliative and not vaccines, while threatening to completely shut down the government house, government agencies and all corporate organizations enforcing the no vaccine, no entry policies While addressing journalists during the protest, coordinator of Freedom Ambassador Organization, Curtis Ogbebo, said they were out to express their displeasure over the compulsory vaccination in the state, while stressing that there were other pressing issues such as security that the governor should give priority attention to. Well, we'll take another break here and return with business stories. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Up next is business news with Shade Ogunrinde.
Thank you very much, Oyin. In business, the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NEC, has advised the federal government to adopt the public-private partnership as a means of addressing the nation's huge infrastructure deficits. The NEC Director General, Timothy Olawale, who gave the advice over the weekend, added that the nation's debt profile is worrisome and unsustainable for the economy. He further noted that implementation of the PPP initiative will ease Nigeria's poverty rank even before the desired date of 2030. Now, to speak more on this, Mr. Thompson Apabio, Deputy Director, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, joins me now. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, it's clear that government has made effort towards public-private partnerships and even embarked on some infrastructure projects. Now, in light of Nigeria's current economic situation, is it correct to say that these efforts have not yielded the desired results?
Thank you so very much for having me. I haven't listened to your question. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, what yardstick or statistics will you use to arrive at such a conclusion? And how many public-private partnerships do we have in Nigeria, especially in the area of infrastructural projects, when we still have deficits in the roads, in the rail, in ports, and several other parts of the country? Let's not forget that Nigeria, as a population of over 200 million, will still need several of these things, especially for development. So absolutely not. It will not be correct to have that position.
Now, what then do you think is the missing link to all of these economic issues, especially when the basic economic demand is improving the standard of living of the Nigerian people, of course?
You will agree with me that Nigeria is blessed with a lot of human and natural resources. And we shouldn't be said to be complaining on the long run. So to our mind, the missing link is leadership. Leadership not just at the federal level, but at every strata of government, every department, and every unit, even at your own unit. Leadership. How effective or how prudent are we in managing resources that are within our own control? Are we accountable? Are we having those people in authority? How are they handling these things? Because if we have effective and prudent leadership that is well managing the resources we have in this country, we'll have things like high cost of governance will be reduced. We'll have the leakages blocked in several quarters. There'll be prudent management of resources that are available, and Nigeria will be put first. So I think that the very basic thing is prudent leadership that is willing, ready, and able to manage resources appropriately.
Well, Mr. Thompson Akpabio, Deputy Director, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, thank you very much for your time. I'll go for a break here and return with a review of the stock market. Do stay with us. The numbers rolled out for today's trading session are not impressive at all. Let's take a look at this table. We see that the all-share index basically is at 38,864 basis points, while we can see that it's basically in the reds at 0.25%. Market capitalization still hovers around the 20 trillion naira mark at 20.242 trillion naira. Now we see that all of this is eroding because investors lost a whopping 51.03 billion naira. We can say that is largely attributed to the poor performance to more profit taking across the market. Now for our market activity, we see that the volume and value trades also depreciated, although there is a silver lining in the number of deals traded, which is of course an improvement from last session's trading. Now I'm sure you're eager to see our top winners as well as our losers. Well, I am too. 18 gainers led by University Press PLC and Transcorp Hotels PLC recorded a combined gain of 58 kobo. On the flip side, we see that AXA Mansell Insurance PLC and Chams PLC led 11 losers rather on the laggers table, reporting a combined loss of 34 kobo. Now, away from the NGX, let's see what's happening on the other side of the globe. Well, it's a good trading day for the UK stock FTSE, which was helped by a weekend without major developments on the Evergrande debt crisis. Dow Jones is also not doing badly as it managed to keep its head above waters, recording in the greens basically at 0.35%. Nikkei, on the other hand, closed in the reds at 0.029% as Asian stocks struggled for direction following Evergrande's warning that it was in the serious shortage of fund. And that's it on the business news segment of News Now. Back to Oyin for the rest of the news.
Thank you for that update, Falasha. Then straight now to the foreign scene, where the Lebanese investigation into the deadly 2020 Beirut blast has been suspended after accused former Interior Minister Nohad Machnouk formally notified the investigator of the request to dismiss him from the case. In a second suspension of the case and following Lebanese law, Tarek Bita was forced to halt the investigation. Now, if removed, Bita would be the second investigator to be sacked since the explosion, amid widespread accusation of obstruction by Lebanon's political barons who have largely dodged interrogation. The massive explosion at Beirut's port on August 4th, 2020 killed at least 218 people, wounded 7,000 others, and devastated swatches of the city. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Lagos fans of Pere, housemates of the 2021 Big Brother Naija, have thronged the streets to protest against the reality show new eviction twist. On Sunday's eviction show, Pere and Angel were removed from the main house during the live eviction. The duo have been isolated in a white room in the BB Naija house to battle their way back into the show by disassembling toy trucks without breaking any parts. Speaking to the fake evicted housemates, Biggie explained the terms and conditions of the game, stating that the loser would go home while the winner would have a chance to join the race in becoming the winner of the competition. This move definitely didn't go well with viewers of the reality show, especially Pere's fans, who have aired their disagreement on social media, threatening to boycott BB Naija. Nia Kimolayo's hit comedy My Village People has recorded a major milestone after crossing the 100 million naira mark in box office. Produced by County Culture Network, Film on Entertainment and TMPL Motion Pictures, My Village People is officially the 17th Nollywood title to gross over 100 million naira. Starring Bovi Ugboma, who doubles as writer and executive producer, the movie follows the story of Prince, a young man who finds himself in a bizarre love triangle with the marine world and a coven of witches as a result of his reckless lifestyle. The organizers of the Gouda Ultimate Search have unveiled 20 contestants for this year's edition. The 20 contestants were selected from the 20,000 applicants with regional screenings in Abuja, Enugu, and Lagos. Out of the 20 contestants unveiled for the 2021 Gouda Ultimate Search, only 16 have made it to the jungle, while the other serve as bout cards on the show. The host of the show is Gideon Okeke, while the popular actor and alumnus of the show, Kunle Remi, will be the taskmaster for this year's edition of the competition. And that is all that's left for you on the entertainment segment of News Now.
And in sports, 3 straight African champions, the Tigers, are back in Nigeria with the most prestigious trophy on the continent. The Nigerian Queens defeated Mali 70-59 on Sunday night in Yaoundé to win the 2021 AfroBasket Women's Championship. The feat means they have continued to dominate African basketball, winning the 2017, 2019 and 2021 editions without dropping a game. The Nigerian Basketball Federation is expected to announce a reception program for the team in conjunction with the Nigerian Sports Ministry. And that's the size of our bulletin this evening. We thank you for watching. I am Oyi Adekunle. Bye for now.